This is episode 44 of This Makes Me Happy. Welcome to This Makes Me Happy, a podcast about people and what makes them happy. I'm your host, Bernardo Margulis. I'm a designer, art director, and educator, and I'm the principal of This Makes Me Happy, a design studio where I help my clients with branding and visual communications. I'm very happy to present This Makes Me Happy, the podcast, where each week I chat with a different person about what makes them happy. My guests come from all walks of life, and each of them shares their own personal happy stories. Join us every week for a unique conversation. Hello, today I am very happy to have Angela Southern with me. Angela is a lettering artist and illustrator living in Austin, Texas. Hi Angela, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. And I'll do a shout out to Rachel Elnar, who had Angela on a Type Dojo, what was it, a couple months ago that you were on it?
Yeah, a couple months.
And that's how I learned about Angela. So indirectly thanks to Rachel for that one.
Thanks, Rachel.
Else from being a lettering artist and illustrator in Austin, Texas, is there anything else you want people to know about you?
I can't think of anything. No.
We'll come up with stuff later.
Yeah, things will come up.
So let's dive right into the conversation. Angela, what makes you happy?
I've been thinking about this question, and I sort of started off by making just a really long list. The more I think about it, kind of more like introspective and serious I got about it. But I think it's true that things that make me happy tend to involve me being useful to someone else and working in some way, being helpful, and stuff that is more long-term, I think. This morning, I was happy because I was at this rabbit rescue in town that I go to every Monday. Just once a week, I go. I love rabbits, and I go and feed them. And if there's a sick one, I'll take care of it. And that was the first thing that popped into my head that makes me really happy.
So is it always, you mentioned long-term, is it always long-term help or also small actions?
Definitely small actions too. Yeah, that's a really good point. In general in life, being helpful and working makes you happy, but you need the little things in between too. And
is this something conscious you get out of it? Well, I mean, obviously with a rabbit rescue, you make it a point, but do you think about it, or is it something that just comes naturally?
I do think about it because it didn't come naturally at first. It was something I kind of dreaded at first. It was kind of a disruption to my routine to start going over there every Monday morning. But I knew it would be a good thing, and I was kind of surprised the ways that it made me happy.
How so? How was it surprising?
I think I was worried at first about the responsibility because I would be the only one in the mornings, and sometimes there's a sick rabbit or two, and they're such fragile little creatures that they can just die in a day. So if I go in there and they don't want their breakfast, it's on me to take their temperature, give them some medicine. So at first I was a little worried about that, but now I'm really confident and I'm happy to be able to help them out.
Do you have to go through training, or is that every time you go, you learn something? I
can always call on a few people if I have something weird that I've never come across, but it's been something I've been just like training. I learn as much as I can whenever I need to. No like official certification or anything like that, but yeah, it's not like intuitive. You have to ask people what to do.
Why rabbits? Why bunnies?
They're so misunderstood. I think it's part of it. I like the challenge of learning about them because they're awesome pets. They're defenseless. They're cute. That's the way I see it. So.
Do you have
I had them when I was little.
Okay, that was going to be my question. Did you ever have one?
Yeah, we had them growing up. They were outside in cages in the middle of winter, probably miserable. Just like not what you're supposed to do with a pet rabbit. But as I got older, I looked into it, and my husband and I talked about it, and we decided to adopt one. And we have two now. They're good house pets. They're like litter trained, and they keep you company, and they're perfectly quiet.
And probably in Austin, you don't have a problem with winter and living them out. They're cozy all year long, probably.
No, but probably the opposite problem. If they were outside pets, they would be they would overheat in the summer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're indoor pets.
So you mentioned not just bunnies, but you mentioned people. Tell me a little bit how this applies to people.
Going to work, I do a lot of work from home as a freelance lettering artist, but I've kept my day job. I went down to part-time, but I still keep my day job. I work at Trader Joe's, and I've been with them for 8 years as a sign artist. So that's just making little signs or chalkboards or crazy Christmas decorations. I love that I have the opportunity there to make people happy by, people are strangers just walking around the store. And it's nice when you notice somebody's having a rough day, you can just give them a bunch of flowers, or if they're looking at some product and you can tell they're not sure about it, you just go up and open it up and you start eating it with them and talk about stuff. And it's really nice to just randomly be able to do that and have it be encouraged.
So you're allowed to open up the products and just eat them with the customers?
Yeah. I mean, we won't have a meal like a picnic on the floor, but we'll sample stuff and try things. Yeah.
I need to hang out at Trader Joe's more often.
Yeah, it's a secret. Now you know. Go in there and ask.
I'll be like, well, I learned that you can sample truffles with me, so why don't we?
They would love that. Yeah. It's kind of funny when you go up to someone and they're almost telling you, like, don't open it, then I'll have to buy it. And you're just trying to convince them that it's okay. And you just want to eat it with them. And
I love that.
It's fun.
Was that something you had in mind when you started working there?
When I started working there in Michigan, where I'm from, I didn't know anything about the company really. But the more I learned about it, the cooler it seemed.
And did you start out as a sign artist, or?
Yeah, I started on the sign team. That's what we call it. Yep.
Cool. So you mentioned that you work from home, but then you've cut some of your time at Trader Joe's. Do you get antsy when you're not around people? How does that work for you being home more now?
I'm glad I do have my obligation at Trader Joe's to get me out into the world, because I'm sort of an introvert where I can just spend, a day or a weekend by myself. Like right now, my husband's out of town and I'm like so content just to work at home and run errands and stuff. So it's good that it gets me out, because I'm pretty content to just hunker down, which I know is not a good long-term, life, like way to live life. So
it's funny
good to get out.
It's funny you mentioned introvert. I've had this conversation a lot because I'm an introvert too. But somehow I've trained myself to manifest as not as an extrovert. To you, is that, do you have to every time think about, all right, I have to interact with people. I can't just be in my own world. Does that affect you at all?
Yeah, I think about it. And I think it's healthy to push yourself a little to be more extroverted. It's good to be balanced.
And do you think sorry, go on.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to ask, do you think that makes a difference because helping people makes you happy? Do you think it makes it harder or easier, or doesn't have any bearing on that? The fact you're in
harder. Oh, it definitely makes it harder. We have some really charismatic people at Trader Joe's, and I can just see them thriving. And, everywhere they go, there's people just like laughing and, you know what I mean? Like they have it. And I have to kind of, cold brew helps. Like I'll drink a whole cold brew.
And they make great cold brew.
They do. Comes in a little can. I mean, that is sort of my extrovert juice. It works. It does, but without, I'm always like polite and civil, but you can't really fake it if you're really, you just want to like run away, If I'm around people too long, I just kind of like can't think straight in a way. It's, but it pushes me to get better being an extrovert, talking to people and being charming and all that stuff.
Oh, I might have to do a podcast just about introverts because that comes up a lot. I guess
I would love to listen. Yes. Yes. Have you read Susan Cain's book, Quiet?
No, but
It's
I
called
think
Quiet.
I've heard. You know what? I've heard about it.
It's about introversion. And so it just helped me feel a lot better as an introvert about being one. And because a lot of society makes you feel kind of bad for not being the extroverted, like, yay person all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt it made me happy. There you go.
So are we going down a list, or do you want to keep going? Just because you mentioned the second one.
Yes. Yeah. Writing makes me really happy. I've always loved to write, and I find that when I'm writing, just for myself these days. In college, I had a blog, and I really liked, having a little audience, but it was nothing major. And then it was really emotional too, and like self-involved, just kind of, so then I got older and a little more productive and realistic. I still like to do it. It helps me organize what I'm thinking, organize my thoughts, and see things a lot more clearly, which I love.
What kind of writing do you do?
Just kind of reflective writing about observations and my own life.
And do you think that as a lettering artist, do you think there's a connection there with the writing?
I think so. I think the written word I prefer to write by hand. And when I'm lettering something, it might have, maybe that's kind of why I like to do it so much, because even from when I was really young, I loved to write letters. Yeah, maybe that is connected.
So even when you write for yourself, not lettering, but just long prose writing, you do it by hand?
Mm-hmm.
So some other people I've spoken before, they mentioned that they have to have the right tools. Does that make a difference to you when you're writing? Yeah,
as a grown-up, I feel like I just surround myself with only the tools that I like, and I don't even look at the stuff that, I have free choice. Why would I use a bad pen? I just don't. I can't even. But it's good to push, it's good to try new things, and maybe you'll discover something even better.
Well, I guess also as a lettering artist, you get more picky about the marks you make on paper, and
yeah. Very picky.
How's your handwriting? Do you have good handwriting in general?
No. If I'm not thinking about it, it's hard for other people to read what I wrote. And then if I'm I can make a normal looking note if I'm like conscious, but it's pretty bad and scrawly when I'm not really paying attention.
Same with me. And I mean, I don't do nearly what you do, but I also do lettering and also do type design. And my handwriting is terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that just me, or is that what we do?
I think it means you're fulfilling your handwriting elsewhere in your work. If that makes sense.
I like that. I like that concept. Mm-hmm. So next time someone can't read my writing, I'll say like, no, I'm already fulfilled elsewhere. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I got that out this morning. I made this beautiful thing, and that's all I have left. I'm sorry.
I love that. What's your favorite kind of writing, or is there anything you've written that you're particularly proud of?
Well, I kind of, I've been thinking about writing more and more, because if I love to do it, I just need to do it and stop thinking about it. I mean, it's, it's fun to think about it too. Even thinking about writing helps me organize my thoughts. It makes me happy. But I wrote just on a whim Uppercase magazine. Have you heard of Uppercase magazine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're always doing submission requests, and so I submitted a little piece talking about how lettering relates to who I am as a person. And they published it, which is crazy.
Online or in the print magazine?
Both.
Oh, great.
So it's in the last one. And I haven't even shared it on Instagram or anything, because I feel like it's really rambly and kind of out there. But I'm proud of it because they liked it. I should share it.
And you're a published writer now, not just a published letterer.
I guess you could say that.
And for the audience, Uppercase is a Canadian publication, beautiful, just visually, how to describe, just visually amazing, and it's all about creatives.
Yeah, they have so many interesting articles and it's packed with photos, and it really goes deep into these artistic like niche areas it's just full of inspiration, and it's really high quality.
And it's beautifully designed, but it's not designed just for the sake of it. It's actually like the content and the design are both great.
Yeah.
I might just subscribe to it again. What else do you have on your list?
Let's see. Books and reading. I love to read. Right now I'm reading, it's called Thou Shalt Prosper. It's by a rabbi, actually. But I'm really into it because there's a lot of wisdom about life in there. And it talks about business being a good thing, making money is a good thing, which is kind of a struggle for a lot of artists. You feel guilty, or deep down maybe somehow that like getting paid to make art is a bad thing, but you're never going to succeed if you deep down you really think that. So it's been really inspiring, and it's a good read.
Is it influenced at all by Judaism, or just happens to be by a rabbi?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tease that apart, though. I mean, a lot of the stuff is from there. I don't know a lot about it.
The Torah, which is like the Old Testament.
Yeah,
I'm Jewish.
Yeah, cool. You're like, okay.
And my mom's cousin is a Chabad rabbi, and he's written a lot about business and ethics of business. So I just look it up to see it was his book, but it's not.
Oh,
yeah, it's someone
cool.
else.
Okay. Yeah, Rabbi Daniel Lapin.
And what other?
I think it's all kind of woven together.
Yeah,
like you said.
Is it always nonfiction to read?
Mostly. The older I get, the more I do like Haruki Murakami. For fiction. But I love biographies and memoirs.
What's your favorite?
So I just read, I love the Steve Jobs one.
Oh, yeah.
Big biography that he never even read. Just so cool.
That was intense.
Yeah, he's an intense dude. And I read Open. It's Andre Agassi's biography. That was really interesting, inspiring.
Is there any connecting thread these books that you enjoy, or just pick them up and you enjoy them?
I really get excited when I read about somebody that I can relate to, but then they somehow broke out of an old mindset and did something amazing. That's inspiring. When just it's interesting to see the way people first have an idea or a plan or like a mindset, and then how that leads to fulfilling it.
Is that a reflection on your own experience?
No, I don't think so. No, but
I'll just go a little cliche. But if I don't know, I just had to do this. But out of all those people, if you could have dinner with two of them, who would you have dinner with?
Can they be dead?
Of course.
And then they'll come back to life.
Yeah.
Karita Kent. Would be great. I think she'd be really funny and sassy in person, very to the point, and positive. I think she'd be a good one.
So was her personality like her work, based on what you read?
Yeah, she has a little book about creativity and the process of being creative.
Learning by Heart. Is that it?
Learning by Heart. Yeah.
Oh, the cover is beautiful.
But there's some things in there that just make me think she would be a hoot. Well, the cover is like this vintagey looking paint streak kind of old cover. Is that the one that you're looking at?
Yeah. The letter. Well, what I'm looking at, the lettering looks more digitized, which I'm not 100%, but I love the color strokes.
I think it would be super popular nowadays if someone reissued it and redesigned it. But it has some good stuff in there.
Yeah, I learned about her. My friend, I was freelancing at her agency, and she comes in one day and she's like, "Look at the Google Doodle. They had the Karita Kent. Did you see that one? The Google Doodle."
No, I didn't see it.
It was, I guess it was the anniversary of her death. She was a featured or her birthday. I forget which one it was. She was a featured person, and you clicked on it, and it just pulled down all her art. And I had never heard about her before, and then that was like visual overload for me because I love color and
yes,
high saturation and I don't know. I loved it.
Yes. I think it really translates. She wanted to make everyone feel happy and joy from looking at her work. And there's some deeper messages too, but I feel the same way when I look at it. Just overwhelmingly awesome.
So you brought something up that how she liked to make people happy through her work, and I'm going to jump back a little bit because before you said that you like to help others, do you ever see your work as also a way of doing that, of helping others or inspiring others or making others happy?
Yeah, I think that's what I come to when I really start thinking about the value of my kind of work, is that it brings a little spark or a moment of joy to somebody when they see it. And that's enough, to be able to say that you can contribute that to the world, that it's meaningful.
Because most of your work is published in, you magazines and publications. Do you get to see that in other people, or is it?
No, I don't get to see that in other people. But I see it at Trader Joe's with a sign. And so I have to imagine that it's happening in the rest of the world. I can sort of hear about it when people email me if they like something or reach out in other ways.
We'll have to do maybe a video of people just experiencing your work for the first time and send you the send you the reactions. So everyone listening to this, before you look at Angela's work, just turn on the camera and then send her videos of you reacting to her work.
That's hilarious.
But it's beautiful work, and it's very I love how expressive it is. So I think it would be a nice experiment.
I feel like it would be people staring blankly at a screen, and then they would have like a mild, like amused sort of glimmer in their eye, and then it would fade.
But that's what you're saying, that little spark.
Yeah.
That's a little spark.
That's all I need.
Well, everyone, I'll put links in the show notes, but everyone make sure to do that, and then do record your expressions and then send it to Angela and to me, because I would love to see it.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Is there anything else on your list?
Podcasts make me happy.
Oh, which ones? And you can say this one.
I love. Okay, well, this is kind of embarrassing. I love the Dave Ramsey podcast. He's a financial advisor. People call in with all sorts of questions, and I listen to it every day at work, and so I can predict what he's going to say. He doesn't go easy on people all the time, but he does it in their best interest, and he really does want to help people. He's all anti-debt. He's got a really good plan if you're not sure how to handle your finances. They'll come in and they'll still say, is it okay if I take out this huge loan for something ridiculous? And you get to hear him kind of go off on them, because that's what the show is all about. That's a really entertaining podcast. I like
You're
that.
like, why do you even call in? You know the answer.
I know. Have you not heard of, you've obviously heard of this guy, but you don't know anything else about him. It's serious, but it's funny at the same time. It's good. I just love that podcasts are such a thing nowadays, and they're so good.
Well, it's so easy to put out material out there, and there's a lot of noise, but on the other hand, there's fewer barriers of entry for people who can put up good content.
There's a lot to listen at. Debbie Millman was on your podcast, and she's amazing. I was so nervous that you were to talk to me after hearing that you talked to her. She's so nice. So,
have you met her?
No.
You need to.
Okay.
I love her. I love Debbie. I'm so happy you said this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great to hear her talk. It was like you interviewing like Terry Gross or something, She's the lady. Well,
here's my thing with Debbie. And Debbie, if you hear this, turn around and stop. But I just admire her so much.
Yeah.
That whenever I met her a few times, and whenever I'm in her presence, I feel a little bit like, and we've talked, like, she knows my name, so it's not like I should be nervous. But I admire her so much, the way she thinks and the way she does things. So I was very nervous, but I made it through, and
it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice to hear her talk, and you didn't seem nervous at all.
it wasn't my first time, but I had to prepare myself. And she's so lovely. I've made a fool of myself a couple of times in front of her, and she's still so gracious and lovely. And I love her. I personally, and her work and the way she thinks, I just admire her.
Same here, definitely.
So what else?
One thing that makes me really happy is northern Michigan.
Where you're from?
I was raised up there. Yes. It just makes me so happy. I still have some friends up there and some family. I feel like maybe this is everyone's experience with their hometown, or maybe not. I just have this kind of obsession with it. You know, in my mind, it's this like magical land that almost like doesn't exist because it's so magical. I went back this summer, was driving around, and I was just in heaven. You know, I was like, oh, I'm going to go here. Oh, I'm going to go there. Just to be on the roads again. I was so in love just driving on the roads because I remembered the roads. But it's a beautiful place to grow up. They have, you know, all the seasons, and I grew up just east of Lake Michigan in Beulah, just east of Frankfurt, which is right on the water. It was like a real rural area, which is kind of like why I don't think I'll ever move back. I've just adapted to more of a city lifestyle, and in the cold, they have a really long winter.
And now you don't have a real winter.
Not really. Just last night it frosted. All my peppers died outside.
Does it snow down there?
We might get a dusting. We've been here for 3 years, and it dusted once, like just a little, and then it melted right away.
So one perk of being farther south.
Yeah.
So why did you, or when did you leave Michigan?
6 years ago. I was living in Detroit, met my husband, and then we moved to LA for a change of scenery, some adventure. We knew some friends in LA, so it was a nice sleeping off place.
And you said you went this summer. Do you go regularly?
About once a year. Yeah. Usually in the summer.
Because what, is most of your family not there anymore?
Yeah, they're kind of spread out. Family in Detroit, Arkansas. I mean, most of my family, I guess, is there. I just don't go there very often. I should go more, right?
Well, if it makes you happy, you should.
It should. It does.
And drive more around the roads and just be happy all over the place.
That's right. That's the plan.
You would have moved back because it was rural, but will you move back nearby? Or is that just you're done with that area and you're experiencing other stuff?
I can see us moving back. The closest major, well, it's not a major city, but the biggest city in the area, Traverse City, it's still a small city. They have shopping center and movie theater and all that kind of stuff there. And it's getting bigger and bigger every year. I can see maybe living there, but no, not in the next 5 years, you know.
I'm just very amazed because I mean, growing up in South America, my vision of the U.S. was that everything was a major city and everything had like,
yeah,
you know, roads, paved roads and traffic and, you know, major corporations and, you know, like New York all over the place. And then I moved, I mean, I've been here for 13 years. So I was 19 when I moved here, but just learning that disparity between the rural areas and the urban areas, and you know the vision was like when you look at cartoons in rural areas is like poor people and all that. It's not true. It's like every kind of people live all over the place. So it's true. It's I don't know, different kinds of lifestyles all over the place, which when you come from the outside you think that it's all New York City and LA.
That's so funny. Could you imagine if the whole country was like New York?
Yeah, well, my experience was New York, Orlando, Miami. I had been to Philly before, and that's where I live now. So I've only experienced major cities.
Yeah.
So I never imagined until I got to college, and all my friends were from like rural areas and you know small towns that you know it really informed.
There is a lot of poverty. It's hard to make a living, and then in the winter, you know, you have to heat a house for like 7 months out of the year, and that gets expensive. But the natural beauty around the area, I think, is worth it to not have all of the opportunities of a big city. You know, there's a lot of natural stuff that is free that you have to take advantage of.
Do you think Austin is your place for the next few years?
I do, yeah, for the next few years. My husband's in nursing school right now, and he'll be done in about a year and a half, 2 years. And then from there, we might just stay.
Well, I'm sure within the licensing, he'll probably have to get licensed wherever he wants to go.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to plan ahead, and he'll have to take a special test for whatever state we're in.
I was going to say that could be fun, but not when you have to be the one doing the licensing and doing that again.
Yeah. I'd be like, no, why don't you just take all of them, and then you can just go wherever you want.
Every one of the 50 states.
Take 50 tests.
50 tests.
Please.
All over the place. Well, but isn't it weird for us that we can work wherever we want? We don't have, you're a lettering artist, I'm a graphic designer. We can move anywhere we want and just set shop. And I'm sure, your agent is in New York, so I'm sure you don't even meet most of your clients. You can be anywhere.
I don't. I could be.
And some professions, like your husband's in nursing school, you have to be like, all right, not just be physically present, but get licensed and be certified. Yep. Do we have more things on your list?
Playing the clarinet and just making things with my hands and happy clients. It's a little work related, but
making clients happy playing the clarinet. Tell me a little bit about the clarinet.
I just have this old plastic clarinet that I've played since I was 12, and maybe someday I'll get a nice wooden one, but I can get a decent sound on it. And I'm not studying hard right now, so it does the job. But I've always thought the clarinet made the most beautiful sound, and I was pretty intense about it when I was younger, and it taught me a lot of lessons. Some people learn a lot of good lessons from their sports coaches or other stuff like that, but my band director taught me a lot of good life lessons that I've carried through. And so I just like to play on my own. I was part of a community band here in Austin for a season, but it got to be too much. I was just too busy to really put the time into practice and go to rehearsal once a week. So I had to quit, but I still play. Yeah.
You play for yourself, for your husband?
Just to practice and noodle around for myself.
So to wrap it up, you mentioned several things. You said helping others, helping animals, your hometown, Northern Michigan, playing instrument, what else? Writing, making things with your hand. If you could have one ideal day, not necessarily with all of these things, but if you could have one ideal day with everything that makes you happy, how would that go?
I would get up early and chip away at everything, probably. Yeah, if all these things make me happy, then if I had a whole day of doing all of them, that would be great.
All right, Angela, now we're going to rapid fire section. I'm just going to throw some quick questions about what makes you happy, and I want your gut reaction. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Who makes you happy?
My husband.
Where is your happy place?
Right here at my desk in my house.
Do you have a happy food?
Macaroni and cheese.
Homemade or stovetop or baked or out of box?
Trader Joe's frozen truffle macaroni and cheese.
Do you still have, I haven't had in a while, the mac and cheese balls?
We do.
Those are so good.
They're good. We better have them. I said it. Hopefully we'll have them.
And if I go by, I'll say, I need to try them. I haven't had them before. Can you sample them with me? When are you the happiest?
When I'm working. When I'm in the zone, working on something.
And who is the happiest person you can think of?
My 4-year-old niece, Ella.
Ella. And where is she?
She's in Northern Michigan, Traverse City. She's my sister's little girl. She is so happy and goofy.
That's so good. Children, sometimes it just, I don't know, there's something about them, their energy. You can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
So, Angela, thank you so much for sharing everything that makes you happy. I'm very happy, especially after the dojo. I'm happy that we got to chat. If people want to find you, learn more about your work, learn more about you, where can they do that?
Sure. My website is angelasouthern.com, and it's mostly just work, but there are some links on the contact page if you wanted to find any of my other social accounts. They're all there.
And I'll make sure to link to it from the show notes for everyone. Angela, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was great.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing what makes you happy. And thanks everyone for listening. A special thanks to Jesus Apollo for ending this episode, Orly Margulies for help with social media, and Rocio Castañeda for ongoing support. You can get more information on this episode and show notes for it at thehappypodcast.com/episode 44. And if you want to learn more about this project, hear past episodes, or get in touch with us, you can go to thehappypodcast.com. You can find us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Happy Podcast. And you can find the latest episodes on YouTube, youtube.com/thehappypodcast. If you like the show, go to iTunes and subscribe so you can get all the updates as soon as they come out. And if you want other people to find out about it, please leave a 5-star review. That's the best way to spread the word. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.